Let me first of all recognize in our midst our President, His Excellency Charles Savre and Mrs. Savre. And for those of you who do not know, Mrs. Savre is an excellent farmer. And she plants everything that's eaten at the State House. So she could teach us one or two things, you know. I also want to recognize Honorable Alex Boyd Knight, our Speaker, Honorable Reginald Ostry, Deputy Prime Minister, His Excellency Luis Jose Garcia of the Venezuelan Embassy, Honorable Dr. Colin McIntyre, Member of Parliament for the Roosevelt Valley, Honorable Ian Douglas, Cabinet colleagues, Chairperson of the Village Council of Trafalgar, Honorable Henry Judge, former Minister and Parliamentary Representative for the Valley, Ambassador Felix Gregoire, ladies and gentlemen, friends all, good evening. For me, this is always a very emotional ceremony when we as a government seek to provide housing for many citizens across the country. Now in life, we all, as families and especially head of households, our first mission really is to build a shelter for our family. So shelter is very important. But I'll come to this in a while. I want to take this opportunity to convey on behalf of the government and people of Dominica and on my own personal behalf and that of my family, our sincerest congratulations to Mia Mottley, the first male Prime Minister of Barbados. For me, it is also a matter of personal friendship. I have known Prime Minister Mottley for many years, and we engender in the last 7 or so years a very personal relationship and friendship. And I have called on a number of occasions for guidance on very important matters. He has, in my mind, one of the best political minds in the Caribbean, a very bright lady. And I believe that her election will usher in a renewed vigor and energy within CARICOM that is much needed now. So we look forward to her leadership and her guidance as we seek to take the Caribbean through these very turbulent periods. But she was also very helpful to Dominica and to myself personally after the passage of Tropical Storm Erica and after Hurricane Maria. She mobilized resources, she mobilized support, and we believe that without that help, we would not have made the kind of progress we made after these two devastating events. So we would like to congratulate her and wish her the very best. My friends, we're here today to sign 33 contracts. 33 contracts which involves the signing of a contract to provide for 12 apartment units for the residents of Trafalgar. It will also involve the reconstruction of about 32 homes, 10 in Stock Farm, 10 in Platma Pier in Corleo, and I'm hoping in the next 2 weeks I will sign another contract for 10 more in Platma Pier. And it also involves the reconstruction of, I believe, 10 in Portsmouth, and the reconstruction of 2 in Lily Valley, and the renovations of 6, and I believe, how many in Saint-Sauveur? 7 in Saint-Sauveur. So, as I've said before, every roof we cover in Dominica is one person less who will be exposed to the elements. And every home we build for a family in Dominica is one less family in Dominica who is without a home calling theirs. And sometimes people want to measure progress by big things. But sometimes the little things, step by step, add up, and it makes a huge difference in the lives of our people. Now I will say to you, and I am a student of history, what we have been doing for this country, especially after this hurricane, is unprecedented. Unprecedented. As of today, this government has deployed financial resources to every single village in Dominica, every single constituency in Dominica. But not only financial resources, assistance by way of materials, paid for by the Treasury of Dominica. Because we recognize that had the government not stepped in, the majority of us would not be able to underwrite the huge cost of reconstruction. And we do so not because we are obligated to do so. Government does not have to build a house for anybody. This government, this Labour Party is doing it because it cares about the people of Dominica. And as Prime Minister of Dominica, I have a home. I want every single person in Dominica to have a home as well. And as the Prime Minister of Dominica, my son is in university. I want for every child in Dominica to have access to university. And that's how we go about life. Looking out for people and ensuring that every single family in Dominica can be truly blessed to be in this country. But sometimes we have to guard against, as citizens, our temptation to forget and to display signs of ingratitude. Because I said to you, my dear friends in Dominica, as I've said to you before, I am only a vehicle. What I do it because the Lord instructs me to do it. Because it is what you have done unto the least of my brothers that you have done unto me. And housing, my dear brothers and sisters, was always a priority for the Lord. Providing a home for people is a biblical instruction. So when I listen to the opposition say last Saturday, they articulated their priorities. And some people in Dominica like to play with their future. They could play games in politics. Politics is not a business to play games with because it determines your present and it determines your future and the future of this country. And they said the priorities, the United Workers' Party's priorities are access to DBS radio. One, top priority, access to DBS radio. Two, electoral reform. And three, equity in the distribution of relief supplies. Nothing was said about housing. Nothing was said about the infrastructure. Nothing was said about the private sector. Nothing was said about education and ensuring that every child in Dominica will remain in school. Nothing was said about job creation. Nothing was said about those of us, our family and friends who lost their jobs. How are we going to get them a job back? Nothing of this kind was said. And you tell me who cares about your future and your well-being? So we're here today, my friends, because this government has declared housing as one of its top priorities. As one of its top priorities. And these are significant sums of money. Significant sums of money that we'll be spending on housing. And the thing about it is, the beneficiaries are getting this as a gift from the government. So I say to you, first, you must always show gratitude to the Lord. And of course, to the government. Second, don't forget that. And you need to take care of the homes, because we'll be imposing certain requirements on you. You must keep the place clean. You must beautify the community. You must maintain peace between and among yourself. You must do these things, because by doing so, you're showing a sense of pride in yourself, pride in the community, and you are setting an example for your children and for the community. We intend in the next several weeks, as Minister of Finance and Minister for Housing, to be in a position to sign contracts almost every 2 weeks where housing is concerned. And as I said before, I'll be going from community to community. Time did not allow me to go to Bratnape and to Cassie Bruce and to Saint-Sauveur in one, but I did not want my convenience to delay the construction of these homes, because all of us would like to build our homes as quickly as possible and to move in them as quickly as possible. We have also adopted the strategy of using apartments. And this will be a growing phenomenon in the country for a number of reasons. One, this is a huge island, a huge country, landmass, but more than half of it you cannot really use for certain things, including construction. And therefore you have limited land space, safe land space, to build homes. So that's one consideration. The other consideration is we have to be very careful about not utilizing all our agricultural lands for housing purposes. Otherwise, we'll have a problem to feed ourselves. But in the design of the apartments and in the construction of the apartments, we have taken certain key elements into consideration. So these apartments you see, my dear friends, you will go to any metropolitan country, any so-called first world country, and you will see similar type apartments. And maybe ours might be even better looking and better designed than that which you see overseas. Because we want to ensure that we elevate every family in this country. I know what all of you went through, and all of us went through during Maria. And some of the Petrocasas homes got mashed up, including some of the Petrocasas. And so in the design of these structures, we have taken certain key matters into consideration. So those structures are designed to withstand a Category 5 hurricane and to ensure that those homes can serve as a safe place for your families during the event such as a hurricane. I see many of our contractors here today. I want to say to you, my dear brothers and sisters, let us build these homes with pride. Let us build it with pride. Let us also build it with great efficiency. Do not be a contractor, because some of you, I believe, you'll be getting some checks. It's not today. You get your advance today. I do not want you to go and take that check and go away, boss, and say, look how big man I am in Dominica, my brother. Look me. And then you just throw that check on the counter in a bar tonight where foreign people are speaking different languages and bring the money tonight. Because, I mean, some people keep asking me, Skerrit, how do you do these things? I walk the streets too, you know. Some contractors, they get work. They get work. At the time of the signing of the contract, they had one girlfriend or one wife. The moment you see they sign that contract and they get the first check, they increase the number of girlfriends they have. So now you have to go and drive now from Portsmouth to Soufriere, from Soufriere now to Cassibus. You burn gas, you burn tire, all those things, and your profit now goes into that activity. And then you say to them, well, where do the money pass? So I'm saying to my brothers, let us manage these monies properly. The government has taken a decision to empower you, to give you an opportunity to build yourself. In these contracts, you should pay yourself your daily wage. And even if you're the boss man and you do not come to work on a particular day, you must not get paid for that day. And after you have paid everybody, including yourself, you will still have a profit left if you manage your contract properly. And that profit, you put it in a fixed deposit at the credit union so it can build for you and you can use it to expand and to grow and to become bigger and so forth. Because what we have done as a government is to utilize local talent where those houses are being built. So the homes that are being built in Collioure are built by people from that constituency. The homes that are being built in Cassibus are people from that constituency, and likewise. Because we want for these millions of dollars to remain in those communities, to create economic activity, and to make life better for these communities. That's what the government is doing. But the success of the government's strategy, rests with you, the contractors and the beneficiaries. Because we have done all that we could insofar as providing a home for these people. We have found the land, we have put in the infrastructure, we have designed the homes, we have found the money, we are signing the contracts. There is nothing else left for Roosevelt Skerrit, your Prime Minister, to do. It is left to you now to ensure that the government's programs, the government's strategy is successful by you playing an important role. What time is it now? 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. These days, up to 6:45 is bright day in Dominica. And I'm still seeing construction workers packing their tools at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. My brothers, I want you guys to work 6 days a week. If you're an Adventist, you go to church on Saturday and you work on Sunday. If you're like me and you worship on a Sunday, you work on Saturday and you go to church on Sunday. And work until you cannot see light. Because when we as Dominicans go to other islands, we work. And there is a lot of work in Dominica for us to do. But we have to be efficient at it. We have to be committed to it in order for us to get where we like to get to as a country, as a people, and as a nation. In the next 2 weeks, I'll be going to Portsmouth Minister Douglas, where we shall unveil to the people of Portsmouth a comprehensive housing solution. In Portsmouth, for the constituency of Portsmouth, and I see Minister Austri watch me tell me cottage is not part of Portsmouth, brother, so, so I'll come to Lago very soon too. So we're going to Portsmouth to unveil in Portsmouth a comprehensive housing solution in that community, where the intention is to build 200 housing units in Portsmouth. But within the first phase of 68, which I'm hoping to begin once we finalize the designs in July of this year. So we'll be launching that housing program in Portsmouth. I am very grateful to the Permanent Secretary and Mr. Jules, and also Mr. Stevenson from Petrocasa for their efforts. I really pushed them hard so we could have the ceremony today, and they have responded very nicely. I want to thank you for all your efforts for having us here today to sign these very important contracts. 33 contracts today will benefit so many families across Dominica. So I want to thank you for your efforts. You also know we have signed a contract for 1,000 homes. We have built 10 in Point Michelle. We're building 10 in the Calago territory. The Roosevelt Valley has been assigned 100 of those across the Roosevelt Valley constituency. We have assigned some 200 to the Calago territory. In Collier, I believe about 70 or so. And every community will benefit. In Marigot, I believe about 40 of them. So we are committed to this. We have a comprehensive housing strategy for our citizens, because the intention of the government is to build about 5,000 homes for 5,000 families in this country. And we are well on our way to that. And every home we build is a tick. It's a tick, and one less home we have to build. Between the Maro constituency, St. Joseph, Cassie Bruce, Grand Fort, Mont John River Sirik, and La Plaine Delis, we have already signed contracts for 400 apartment units. Those sites have been cleared, and we shall see the pouring of concrete very soon in those communities. 400 apartment units in these communities. In order to ensure that there is quality and an adherence to the standards in construction, the government of Dominica, along with our international partners, have decided to set up a number of centers, what you call technical assistance centers, in the 7 health districts in Dominica. And the intention, and we'll have 2 in Roseau area, La Plaine, Sensi in the Calago territory, Marigot, Portsmouth, Cassie Bruce, and Granby. And those units, those centers, will be staffed by qualified people, architects and engineers, who will be authorized in law to do site inspection of construction sites, both private and public buildings in Dominica. And in the next 3 weeks, next week coming, 3 of these will be operational in Dominica. And in the next couple of weeks, we shall conclude the other 4 areas. Because we want to ensure that our decision to build greater resilience, to build back better, are all manifested in what we do in this country. And construction, the adherence to rules and standards is certainly paramount in this effort. So my friends, I am very happy to be here. Of course, we have the hurricane season coming up. in the next few days, I can say to you that the government is taking, as it has done in the past, precautionary and preemptive and proactive measures to, as far as possible, as far as humanly possible, to protect our citizens and their properties. We've had several meetings and plans are being put in place for this. One of the major challenges we had is with respect to shelters and the adequate number of shelters. Thank God most communities, the majority of communities do have shelters. But we continue to solicit the cooperation and the collaboration of all citizens. So those of us who have a private home, and some of us have an upstairs and downstairs, enough space that we can house 5 or 6 or 7 of our neighbors in the event of a disaster. So we ask you and we call on you to make your homes available to your fellow men in this country as we all prepare ourselves for the hurricane season. But I want to say to us as citizens of Dominica and residents that yes, we must look to the government for leadership and for a national plan in regards to our preparation for the hurricane season. But it is also an individual responsibility. Each family must prepare his family. Each business owner must prepare his business for the hurricane season. Security-wise, ensuring that your documents are protected. If there are drains, a blocked drain at the back of your business place or at the back of your home, mobilize the community and clean it. Because at the end of the day, these things can have a devastating impact on our properties and even on our lives. So the churches, every one of us must engage in preparing ourselves for the hurricane season. And this week coming, the Education and Information Committee will be on the radio almost every single day, informing you of actions that you can take as individual citizens and families and communities to prepare ourselves for the hurricane season and ensure that we can mitigate against damage and loss of lives, damage to properties and loss of lives. So I am calling on you to play a part in this effort. This government, and you have some in the opposition, especially the leadership of the opposition, always find it almost like a hobby to criticize what's happening in Dominica. Now, I know if you're in leadership, in a leadership position, whether in government or out of government or in the church or in the community, your responsibility is to properly represent and look for and about the welfare and well-being of those whom you lead. A leader must never be astray. So here it is that we in Dominica, people, all of us are engaged in trying to help each other to fix our homes and to carry the materials for us and to help here and there. And where is the opposition in Dominica? Where is the opposition in Dominica? No role whatsoever in looking out for the people of Dominica. Zero. I know as the Member of Parliament for Vickers, I have to almost appoint myself as the Member of Parliament for Marigot. I have to now clean Marigot and to help the young people in Marigot, representing them, speaking to the Minister of Finance, making resources available in Marigot. And Mr. Linton, he likes to call himself the leader of the parliamentary opposition. He loves that word, that term. But what are you doing with that position? And every opportunity this man gets to speak, it is about denigrating our country, speaking bad of our country. At a time when our country requires every man and woman to be on deck, helping in a positive way. He's almost like a lunatic, to be honest with you. To be out there trying to besmirch the name of Dominica, undermining our own citizens' efforts to fix their homes, undermining the business community efforts to restart their businesses. There are business owners in Dominica who have not restarted their businesses. You are speaking to Rotary. Rotary is an international alliance, an international group. They have money, they have resources. And instead of saying to them, look, these are the challenges of my country. These are the concerns of Dominicans. We need school books, textbooks, reading books, because all the books got wet in the hurricane and destroyed. We need some building materials, windows and doors. We need tools for the men who are on the roof, the drills, and the electrical screwdrivers. And you're out there making a fool of yourself because you get a free ticket to go to Colorado instead of making yourself sound, educated, and really interested in our country, Dominica. You know, it's just mind-boggling that you ask yourself what manner of human beings these people are. That we are here in this country reeling from the ravages of the hurricane. There are people from out of Dominica helping us. Helping us. Foreign people here helping us from as far as Denmark. And you have leaders in this country who should be working with our people are out there boring holes in the canoe that we're all in. And there are still some sensible people in this country supporting this foolishness. What? Because they may not like Roosevelt Skerrit as the Prime Minister of Dominica? So I'm saying to you, my friends, there is no other party in Dominica. There is no other party in Dominica that cares for the people of Dominica more than the Dominica Labour Party. There is none. These guys do not care about anybody but themselves. Because you have to understand, my dear friends, to lead a people, you must first love them. You must first care about them. And this leader of the opposition cares about nobody but himself. You saw it when he went to this village there up in Suffolk Galileo. My brother, this is not about boasting myself. I don't boast myself, I don't talk about myself. But I give you the assurance that if you come at my home and we are serving you a meal, I will ensure that my guests eat first. But if Mr. them, that's not how it is. They will let's eat first, and if it have less, you get some. So his house is covered to help the rest of us who are still on the tarpaulin in Dominica. And he up in Colorado smelling marijuana oil. A man leaving us in Dominica in our misery and going all the way to Colorado to smell marijuana oil, my friends. Marijuana oil. I mean, I thought you would be out there if you get opportunity. I mean, first of all, let me tell you something. When I called the World Bank, from Dominica and told them I want to engage them in some negotiations for funds in rebuilding Dominica, they told me, well, you know, Prime Minister, well, we can give you a maximum of $65 million. I told the World Bank, and you heard me publicly, I said it in my opening, my press briefings, I said, look, I am not going to come to Washington if you're not going to give me $100 million. And we went up there, and I sat with these people for the whole day. They hold me down there for the whole day. And eventually, they agreed they're going to take a document, a proposal to the board for an additional $50 million in grants for Dominica, in free money for Dominica. And even when people here in Dominica, all of us were still in a daze, I could not be in a daze anymore because I had to provide for the whole country. And to tell you how we were thinking at the time as a government, I addressed the United Nations on Saturday after the hurricane. And on that day, we declared to the world that Dominica wants to become the world's first climate resilient nation. That's where we declared that to the world. So while we were in relief, we were already in recovery and rebuilding phase. And for us to have been able, as we've done in Point Michel and elsewhere, to design homes, to fetch the land, to fetch the money, and to build homes and put people in 6-7 months after a hurricane, I do not see how any one of you here in Dominica cannot want to vote this party back into office. If anybody decides to vote against the government, it's bad mind, you bad mind. You bad mind, and you do not love yourself, and you do not love the Commonwealth of Dominica that gave you all what you got. Because the opposition's priorities are not aligned to ours in the country, the citizens of Dominica. I have not met one Dominican who has told me, Skerrit, but you know what my priority is? Electoral reform. People want a home, a roof on their heads. There are people here who are working people who paid their insurance for 20 years. The insurance come and tell you, you over-insure, you under-insure, they give you half the money that you need. You own a motor car for your wife, your husband owns a motor car. Your child studying overseas. You can't go to the bank and take any money to fix your house. What do I do as Prime Minister? I have to help the person. And thank God, the good Lord has been providing us with some money to help Dominicans. And you have never heard these guys support any of that. Any of that. I have not received one request one request from any member of your opposition in Parliament asking for help for not one of their constituents. Not one. Not one. So I'm saying to us, my dear brothers and sisters, that this country is poised, and we need to ensure that we can work together as a people, because that's what we need, working together as a people to build this country. People will come here and they will come here and it's pure negative. Nothing to offer, nothing tangible to offer. They will come here looking for a job. They're not coming to represent you, represent anybody. Because when a member of parliament can proclaim to the world, I am hungry, I have no food to eat. I mean, what about your constituents? What about your constituents? And anywhere in Dominica you go, my friends, these people in opposition have nothing constructive to do, nothing constructive to say, nothing that will improve your lives, nothing that will make life better in Dominica. And they go ahead and they elected a new deputy leader. A new deputy leader. A new deputy leader. I mean, are you guys really serious about Dominica? That you called a special delegates conference to push him out. The same reasons why you called to push him out remain at the time that he got re-elected. I mean, politics, representation is a serious, solemn activity. This is not a domino match. So I am saying to you, my dear brothers and sisters, who are listening to me, that these people in the opposition really care nothing about Dominica or Dominicans. And Mr. Linton is now a public embarrassment. A public embarrassment. And you know what? The sad thing about it is that all the people who support them know that, you know. And they say that to you privately, you know. They know that and they say that to you privately. You know, and then I'm talking about the international airport and saying that at the end of the month, this month, May, we will have $162 million for the airport, for the international airport. And I wanted to say that that money is sufficient to build the runway. And once you put the aeronautical apparatus and devices, you have an airport. And then I jokingly said, you know, we build this airport, you get some containers and bam, we have the airport. And I mean, and to my total amusement, DNO makes it a headline news. I mean, Tim Dura can support his party, but Tim Dura, I mean, you're supposed to be a respectful fellow in the country. I mean, for you to put this, I mean, really, really, it's unfortunate. But they will not distract this government. I tell you, my friends, as your leaders lead this country, I am focused on the people's issues. I am preoccupied with what preoccupies you. I give you the assurance that we shall continue to work hard to make life better for all of us in this country. And until every single family in Dominica, has a decent home, we will not stop on our march to building homes in Dominica. And I will say to you that if this government has to mortgage the financial center to build homes for people in Dominica, this Minister of Finance will mortgage the financial center to build homes for the people of Dominica. Because for us, housing is a major priority for this government and for this country. And to our young people in Dominica, finally, because I came here planning to speak for 5 hours, but finally, next week, God's willing, or I believe the following week, but certainly in the first half of June, we will be settling with the State College all the outstanding fees that our students owe to the State College as of 31 of May 2018. And the college told me, do I suspect a little bit higher, is higher than what it really is, but you know. They told me the students owe 1.6, Mr. Sanders, 1.6 million? 1 million. It went up, you see that, you see? They first told me 1.6, and I told them, where you get 1.6 from? That must be less. So they now tell me they went back and did their reconciling, and it went up to 1 million now. So we owe in the college, we'll pay the college in the second week, by the second week of June, $1 million that will clear all the fees owed by all our young people attending the State College. And I will go to the State College to hand over the check to them. And I intend to tell them off on a couple of things. And one of the things I will tell them off about is that the practice which they have of not allowing students to sit their exams is wrong. It is morally wrong, it is ethically wrong, and it is illegal. And if they continue to do so, I will instruct the Attorney General to sue the college on behalf of the students of Dominica. And to hold the President, Dr. Peters, personally liable, because they should never be sending students home, not allowing them to sit their exams. There is, my friends, there is no college, university in the world that does that. No. So, because let me tell you something. I am committed in Dominica and wherever I go to stand in defense of our people in Dominica. So while others will go and undermine and denigrate and besmirch Dominica, wherever I go, I look for opportunities for Dominicans. I promote that which is good about Dominica. That's what a leader, a national leader must do. When we're in Dominica, we can fight, we can banter, but when you leave the shores of Dominica, you must be a statesman or a stateswoman. I saw both the leader of the opposition in the BVI and the premier in the BVI are friends of mine. I served as Minister for Education with the current leader of the opposition, who was Minister of Education. And I've known Dr. Smith for a very long time, he being in government. But here it is, in the BVI. The BVI has come under attack. And the government and the opposition have joined forces in defense of the BVI. And they went to London together to speak for and on behalf and in defense of BVI on the offshore financial services, which is like our CBI. So here it is in the BVI, my dear friends. The leader of the opposition decided to set aside his differences with the premier and vice versa, and decided that that matter, which is at the core of the well-being and welfare of the BVI, is too important a matter for the world to have any thinking that there is division within the BVI on this matter. Because without the financial services in the BVI, there is really no BVI, my friends. So I want to say to you, especially those who vote for these people, who may be sympathetic to them, I want to say to you that disabuse your mind. Or in simpler terms, do not believe that when these guys are out there bad-mouthing Dominica, that the only person in this country who will be affected is Roosevelt Skerrit. All of us are affected. Every single one of us, because this is our country. So let us understand this, my dear brothers and sisters. I am very happy for the beneficiaries. I am saying to you here in Lily Valley, and we're here in Lily Valley. I'll speak to Collier and Portsmouth and Castle Bruce at another time when I come to visit you personally. But rest assured, we are committed to addressing the housing challenge here in this constituency. And these apartments is just the beginning of a massive and comprehensive intervention where housing is concerned in this constituency. And anybody who come here and they cannot beat that, tell them to take a hike. Because we're not coming here to make promises to you. We come in here to deliver things to you, my dear friend. So anybody come and tell you, well, if I win or when I win, my brother, you don't have that. There is no ifs or buts in that. Because we here, Dr. Mack here, will very soon hand over keys to homes, not homes in the air and so on, real homes to beneficiaries. And that's the vast difference between the Dominica Labour Party and the United Workers' Party. It's just a bunch of idle men and women looking for a job, but not interested in the welfare and well-being of people. And you have to be careful with them. Careful with them. Because there's nothing they can... Let me tell you something. If you cannot go to Linton's home in opposition, he's not greeting you while he's in opposition. He's not saying hello to you while he's in opposition. You don't know where his office is. My brother, if when you become a big prime minister, you can see Mr., hear Mr. Because I tell you, I have been very careful how I used the powers which the Constitution provides to a prime minister. If you were to ask me my honest opinion, I believe the Constitution gives the prime minister too many powers. Serious powers. But you have to use these powers judiciously and with a profound sense of humility. You have to be very careful how you exercise these powers. Because a prime minister in our constitution has serious powers. So I wish you all the best. Obviously, we have more than 12 people in Trafalgar who will need homes. But it means that there are 12 less people on the list, and therefore your name is higher up at the top. So you will be very soon be receiving a home. And we intend, once we establish the plant at Belfast, we will very soon start the construction. So you may very well see that while these 12 apartments are under construction, you'll see the other sets of homes will begin building here in the Roosevelt Valley constituency. So I wish you all the best. I wish you God's guidance. Let us work together to build this country. This country is ours. Everything will not be as we want them, but let us all work together to make our tomorrows better than yesterday. Thank you very much.